This is an interview with Arnie Pangerl, my dad, on May 5th, 2002. Okay, now we want to talk about the ancestors.
Are you going to talk about ancestors?
Ancestors, yes. Talk about your grandparents. Do you remember Grandma and Grandpa Wakescheider?
I don't know.
They were gone before you were born.
Well, no, by golly, I was born before Grandma died, but I don't remember her.
Oh.
I remember Grandpa Pangerl, yes. 'Cause I used to be with him all the time.
Oh, did ya?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I used to always feed the pigs with him.
really?
Yep. In fact, I think my dad started the car that time and was going to back out of the garage. If it wouldn't have been for him, he'd have backed over me that time.
Really?
Yeah. Grandpa's the one that went and grabbed me and pulled me out of there.
I never heard that story
was,
before.
I don't remember what year that was. But I spent a lot of time with the grandparents. In fact, I couldn't even speak English when I was ready to go to school.
Yeah, see, that I knew. I knew
Yeah,
a lot of German.
always was German. Now I can't even speak German. Gotten bad. Yeah.
I remember great grandma Pangerl because I was 12 when she
Yeah,
passed away.
she was, well, Grandpa died when he was young. He was only, I think he was 65.
Well, that wasn't
when
that
he
old.
died.
That wasn't
Well,
that
Grandma
old.
was younger than that yet at the time.
Mm.
So,
Do you remember Grandma and Grandpa Rotenbacher at all?
oh yeah, those I remember. I remember them both yet. Because he was, I can still see when he used to come down there and he'd be laying on a couch. Like I am.
I guess that's one of
And
those.
I imagine he was, well, he was younger than me. He was 70, I think he died when he was 75 or something.
Oh.
See, and Grandma Rotenbacher was only,
Well, they only died a few
65.
months apart, didn't they?
yeah, about 65, I think that's all she was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, I remember them going down there to the Rodenbachers there with my mother. They used to come up and pick her up, and then at saddle filling time, I know that she used to take me along. And then Sandy was the baby, and he stayed at home. Grandma Pangerl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a long, I don't know, they had to be in the early 30s somewhere in there. I don't know what year. Yeah.
So, how did you guys usually celebrate Christmas? I mean, did you go to the Rotenbachers or the Pangerls or the...
No, that was always Pangerls.
Always the Pangerls.
Always the Pangerls, because they used to always come home for Grandma.
Yeah, I
And the
remember
house
that
was
when I was a
built,
kid. Everybody would come to... Yeah, I remember that.
No, the Rotenbachers, let's see, I don't remember any Christmases down there. I remember when, I don't remember now if that was my grandpa or grandma that passed away. And then they were all here. Yeah, for the funeral. But I remember those pictures that were taken up at the home place,
Yeah.
up at Pangerl's. They're all on those pictures except Uncle Joe.
Yeah. He was
They
maybe...
were expecting a little one there, but I don't see, and that would have been when Aunt Louise died in 1931.
Okay.
But which one of the kids that was, I don't know. I think it was, I bet you it was Bobby that they took care of that time. Otherwise, yeah, Grandpa Rotenbacher and them, and Grandma, they passed away in
30-something,
Just,
1930.
One died, I think, in November, and
The
then
other one died
the other one
February.
died in February.
February, that's what I thought.
Because I remember it was so cotton picking, cold that time. Gee. Well, it was 36, it was cold.
Hmm.
Because that's the year my sister got sick.
Oh, that was the same year?
Yeah, she got sick, and then she was sick all in 36, and she died in 37.
Yeah, I think Grandma said, was it 15 or 18 months?
Yeah,
Something
it
like
was
that.
a long time.
That's
So
just-
she got sick right after the first of the year in 1936. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And
well,
you-
then she passed away in 37.
37. So,
And my dad, he got sick, I think it was in, I bet you it was 1940. Or was it? No, it was 1940.
now what did he get sick with?
That was, well, the doctors always figured he got poisoned by his tonsils. He had
Really?
an infection. And at that time they didn't have penicillin and all that damn stuff. Because I remember they took, I think that was 1940 when he was sick that time.
Hmm. Well, he was sick for a long time then.
Huh?
Then he must have been sick for a while.
Oh, he was sick for a long time. He never did really pull out of it. He never was the same. Because I can remember, Sandy and Herman don't remember him. He'd always be whistling.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He'd be driving a horse and he'd be whistling. Or either, he had a few songs he'd sing. But then after he was sick, he never did whistle or sing anymore.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Just went and gave it up.
Huh. And he always had horses too, right?
What?
He always had horses.
Oh yeah, he loved horses. He was a great one for horses. And he could do most anything with horses. Yeah.
Hmm.
He never was much for automobiles and tractors and stuff.
Well, they didn't really have automobiles back then that
Well,
much.
yeah, they
did
had an automobile.
Well, they had some, but they didn't.
He had that automobile, man. Yeah.
And when you went to grade school, you went up here, up by Jerome Peters? There was a school for grade school?
Yeah, I went to school up there. Well, there was quite a few kids went to school up there. And most of them are gone now.
Yeah.
They have disappeared.
And what was your teacher's name? You had different teachers?
Oh yeah, I had different teachers every 2 years.
Oh, really? They just switched off every 2 years?
I had Ruth Swenson went and taught the first and second grade. And Oscar Hovisto taught me the third and the fourth grade. And Eva Bloss taught the fifth and sixth. And Carmen Kelly taught me the seventh and eighth.
Okay.
And then I know my dad sent me to high school that time.
You went to high school? I didn't know
Well,
that.
no, I never got there.
You never got there?
He would have went, he just sent me to high school, but I would have had to stay in by Bill Corbell's. I would have stayed by Bill Corbell. Well, then Dad got sick, and I never went. I went and stayed home and did chores.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Well, there
graduated?
was no school buses or nothing.
No.
I know the only ones that went to school from out here was Peters's. Well, they used to stay at Bill Corbell's.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Joe France and Bill Court used to haul the girls to school. That was an everyday affair. Of course, like Joe France could do that because he had some help to home. And Bill Court had Earl go home.
Okay.
And the girls went to school.
Wow. So you graduated 8th grade though, right?
What?
Did you graduate from the 8th grade?
Yeah.
You finished the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Did they, when you were in country school up here, did they have like Christmas programs?
Oh yeah, they had Christmas programs. Yeah. Yeah, that was a highlight of the year, more or less. The same way with the school picnic. I mean, that used to be
Oh yeah.
a highlight in the spring.
Well, didn't they used to have, God, I think I remember when they used to go to country school too, they used to have what they call pie socials.
Oh yeah, they had them.
Where you have to bid on these pies and then you
There
had
was, they usually had them with the Christmas program, if I
Yes.
remember right.
See, I remember those. I think we even did those in country school. And they
I
were-
remember that. When you went to school down there in West Rock, when they used to, Mrs. Peterson used to order the apples and all that stuff for Christmas.
Yeah, we'd always get an apple.
Oh yeah,
I
apple
remember
was a must.
Yeah, apple, everybody always got an apple. And maybe peanuts. I remember peanuts.
Yeah, there was always peanuts. Yeah, and peanuts and that peanut brittle.
Yeah, or
They
that
used to always
hard,
have that
hard
peanut- that
candy
hard
too.
peanut brittle. And then hard candy, that was about it.
I remember that.
Another highlight of was always some picnics out to Dave Pranger's.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember going to picnics out there and then we'd all go swimming.
Yeah, well, see, that was before, when I was a kid. Uncle Dave and Aunt Annie always had them 4th of July picnics. And I remember we used to go over to Frank Prangerl's and get ice. They had ice in the ice house.
Okay.
And then they'd make ice cream. And boy, that was the best god dang ice cream, I believe, that I could get.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they used to have a keg of beer. And I can still see that Richard Davis and Herman Pranger was singing. They'd sing underneath that one tree down by the river. Another thing I can remember of the picnics was the Earharts used to come out there too.
Huh.
And there was a guy by the name of, it was Bill's brother, his name was Louis Earhart.
Okay.
And he'd pester them Earhart girls something fierce. He pestered them. And that time when they went to picnics and stuff, they used to always be dressed up, a suit and a necktie and the whole works. And he pestered that Helen and that Margaret that time so bad. And they took him with the suit and all and threw him in the river. I can remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, those days will never come back. They were good days though.
Yeah.
No, nobody had anything. That's why I always said them picnics out there were, well, geez, there was a lot of people come all the time because Prangers were related to the other Pangles.
Yeah, that's right.
See, and they'd always gone like that Eddie Frank, he was always there. And then, let's see. Well, then Johnny Pangerl would always come. And I remember that one time, that was in later years. That must have been probably one of the last picnics we had down there. Because Johnny Pangerl had a 1936 Plymouth coupe. And he got snorkeled up on there. And Ethel drove that Plymouth across the pasture up, and I know it was bumpier than hell, there wasn't a road. And Johnny was sitting in the trunk. That Plymouth had a trunk kind of a long trunk. And that goddamn trunk door was hitting them on the head.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, then they had later years there, and they had picnics down here by the Bears Ear too. Trashing picnics.
Okay.
And I remember that one time too. I don't remember too much of that. I remember when they took that. Well, it had to be in the 40s. Yeah. You had a blanket. And they had that Art Jacobson in that blanket with that Mrs. Otto Schwartz. And they were throwing them up in the air in there. That a long time ago.
Wow, I guess.
And now there's nothing left of them at that river.
I haven't been down there in years. I wouldn't know
Well,
what's down
they
there.
don't pay to go down there. It's all people now.
That used to be great when us kids were growing up and we'd go
Yeah.
down there after silo filling and haying and stuff.
Yeah, it was quite a place, that river.
Yeah, it's all
Now you
gone.
doesn't even go down there.
Yeah, I suppose not. I suppose not. Yeah.
Another person I never seen no more is that Vernon and Arnie Shepherd. They
I haven't seen
built
her.
that house down there, and then they were down there, and they lived down there. And then they went back to the cities, and they got a cabin down there, but I don't know, you never see nobody.
No, I haven't seen them in a while.
No
too,
change.
either. But, okay. Now, you and Mom met at the Topic Ballroom, right?
Yeah, it was the top of all of them. You know, and those places are going to.
Yeah.
And it was Pine Camp. And there was Baroon. And Happy's.
Now, where was Happy's?
Huh?
Where was Happy's?
Up north of Hinckley, right on 61.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And then there was the ranch.
Now, where's that one?
That's out there west of Graston.
In
And
the Round Top.
then there was the Golden Slipper. That was up there, well, right up by the freeway, not the freeway, but right where 23 goes west and south of Mora. That burned down. Never got there too much. That was a place. And then there was Fish Lake and Mora.
Yeah.
Fish
That's
Lake
still
and,
there.
Fish Lake and Harris.
Yeah, that burnt down.
And I said, was there any more of them dance halls around? No, I said, there's none. Oh, and there was the Streamliner,
Well, that's where the Legion is now, right?
where the Legion is.
Yeah.
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 Of course, we never went there that damn much because you had to be dressed up to get there.
Really?
Oh yeah, they threw her old court out of there one time. He had an overall on.
So you had to wear like suit and tie. You
Huh?
had to wear suit and tie.
You had a suit and tie on. Otherwise, that damn yeah.
Oh, for Christ.
So I never really. Oh, I'd been a few times, but not much. Yeah. Most of it was at the ranch, Pine Camp, and the Topic, most of it. Well, and then they had the Maroon Pavilion too yet, you know.
Jeez.
And now you can't make them any new place. It's a thing of the past.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I think the only wood dance floor is at the Legion.
Oh, Fish Lake. Fish Lake has wood, I think, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a wood floor.
Yeah, because I had that wedding up
Otherwise, like Ann Lake up there, I never got up there, it was too far. And then there was, what the hell was the name of the other one? It was Ann Lake. Of course, they changed that one. There was 2 dance halls up there. I never got to that one until Eddie started playing that Pink Diamond.
Pink Diamond.
Yeah, that Eddie. Oh, I suppose if he was Mama would be living, we'd still have to go to them dances.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she
We
liked
spent a
the
lot of
dances.
time the last years in Edwarski's. And a lot of time down at in Rock Creek
Oh,
At
yeah.
the Cricket.
At the Cricket.
Well, first it was the Rock Gardens and then it was the Cricket. Now I don't even care about going no more.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you met Mom, she was living back here, or was she living in Oregon?
No, I never knew Marcy when she lived in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Met her down at the Topic. Yeah, they lived back here that time. They had just moved back from Oregon.
Oh, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. Because they moved back here, I think it was in it had to be in the winter. Because I started going to Marcy in the spring of 46. And then the folks left in the fall of 46 back to Oregon again.
Oh. Well, why did they go back?
No, there was no money here to be made.
Hmm.
There was work out there at the time, but there was no work around here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember, Marcy worked at the telephone office, and I think she got $12 a week.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think it was $12 a week. No, there was no work to be had.
Hmm.
Well, then she stayed by, her and Bertha rented, and they stayed by Tina Sweeberg, where Russell Anderson lives now.
Okay.
Yeah, she used to work at the telephone office till 11 o'clock at night, and then got done. That way, first go to the dance.
Really? Wow. So did someone introduce you to Mom, or how'd you?
I don't remember.
I know, I think last time I talked to Art France, he said he introduced you guys.
Oh, maybe it was Art type. Yeah. Oh, that was a way different story that time. Them goofy kids, great. Well, it's just like I was talking to Dean Gables from Russ City last year at the Rock Creek tractor deal. And he said there was that bunch of boys from down there from Sunrise and North Branch that used to come up to the top. There was that Art Swanson. I don't think he's living anymore. There was that Dean Gables. And that one kid, I can't remember what his name was. And there was Willie Yang. He was with that bunch. He's still living. They were, by golly, if you didn't go, by golly, you missed something.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, in Pine Camp, that more or less started when the Salonics were going out there. And
Was that open the same time as the Topic?
yeah.
They were able to keep both places going, huh?
The first time I ever was to Pine Camp was when Nick Pangerl and Pauline and Herb Edberg were on it. But I don't remember what year that was.
They ran it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, they run that Pine Camp.
Wow.
But that had to be back. I don't remember if they had that before they had the Village Inn. They used to run the Village Inn in Pine City too across the track.
Oh, see, I never knew that either.
Because I remember when I used to go to the show with Reynold, and then we'd always meet Bill and Beta down at the Village Inn. But I don't remember if that was before or after Pine Camp. Graston, that was before. Graston was in the late 30s. But Dad was in pretty good shape then yet. He wasn't sick. That was before he was sick. And him and Mother would go to Graston. Out in
Really?
that hall.
The Round Top, or?
No.
Not the
It
Round
was
Top.
right where the post office is now.
Okay.
There was a great big building there,
Oh,
and
okay.
they run a beer joint there, and there was a hall there, upstairs. In fact, one time we went to well, they had a play out there. It'd be like a young people put on a play, you know, and then they charge so much. And I remember Clarence Pangerl, and he died in 1937, and he was in that play.
Huh.
Carl Meyer,
Okay.
Irene and Eleanor
Okay.
Pangerl, and some of the Courts girls.
Wow.
Yeah, that I remember that play, yeah, because well, they had them greased up with cork that time, black cork. That
Oh,
I
it's
think
for
it
their
was
face?
Clarence Pangerl and I think it was Carl Meyer.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it was a difference, altogether different world. You knew everybody. I mean, that time. That's just like when them old Frank Brandl used to come up from the cities. He just waited to come up.
Hmm.
And he never wore an overhaul. I don't remember having an overhaul. He always wore them blue serge pants. Then he'd clean chickens on Saturday, and he was full of feathers. uh,
Huh.
and then he'd eat chicken on Sunday.
I always remember that on Sunday. Everybody always cooked chicken.
Oh yeah,
Chicken.
and that was good chicken.
Yeah. Now that this chicken you buy in the store now, it's all rubber.
Well,
Seems like.
Jim Pangerl always said a good chicken has to dig in the manure pile.
Really?
Yep. He said then that makes a good tasting chicken.
Oh jeez.
Well, they used to have them leghorns, and they just buy the straight run of chickens, and then the pullets they kept, and the roosters we ate.
Oh.
And everybody was the same. Everybody had a brooder house, and they raised chicken. Well, it was about the only goddamn meat you could have in the summertime.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I know Dad would butcher a veal calf, and you'd have veal. But as for beef, you didn't have no beef.
Really?
Mm-mm. You had some salt pork. You remember that goddamn bacon too? They used to bring it up from the basement. It was just gray. And they'd taken it, scraped the mold all off.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah. Clean it up, and that was your bacon. And they lived too.
Jeez. Gosh.
Well, then you had that sauerkraut.
I remember when Grandma used to make sauerkraut. The whole house would stink. I remember
Yeah,
that.
sauerkraut. Well, that was the goddamn main meal years ago. Was that salt pork and sauerkraut and dumplings. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna go take Sandy and Pat, and we're gonna go to that and have pork and dumplings this Wednesday.
Oh, that sounds good.
I don't know if Rosie's gonna be there or not, but they're gonna
Oh,
have.
Rosie Hopkins? Yeah.
I think she quit.
Hmm. Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, how long did you and Mom date then before you got married? 2 years?
I started going with Marcy in 1946 because I know I just started going with her when I went out to Dakota.
Okay.
And let's see. Then the folks went back to the West Coast, and Verna May. Did Verna May stay here? I don't remember now. Verna May stayed here? No, just Marcy stayed. Just Marcy stayed, I think.
Hmm.
You know, like, I went in 46, 47,
You got married in 48.
and got married in 48. I don't remember if Verna May was here or not. She had to be, or either she come back.
Didn't she
came
come back?
back,
I think she
if
came back
that-
for the wedding, didn't she?
No, that was before that.
Oh,
I think she
before.
came back because she lived with us. No, that was after we was married. Because we went out to Oregon, and that time it was the fall of 47. It was before Christmas, and Verna May was here that time, yeah. That's what I can't figure out, if she stayed here. Maybe she stayed here. Because her and Ruthie Corf and Bertha was supposed to, and Marcy and I was going out to Oregon. And then Ruthie Corf got sick or some goddamn thing. And Verna May stayed here that time with her. And I and Bertha and Marcy took off for Oregon, the three of us. Because I know it was cold, it was in December that time. We went.
Oh.
We went down to Iowa and down through Sioux City and took the old Highway 30 out, the old Oregon Trail.
Oh, okay.
And then away, Verna and Ruthie Corf came out there on the train then afterwards.
Oh,
And they came out there before Christmas then, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that time, that was a one, two. I think it took us 5 days to get out to Oregon on that old,
Oh, jeez.
there was no freeway. You went through every cotton picking town.
Huh.
No. And then we stayed out there that winter. And the five of us come back when I and Marcy got married that time. We came back in that old 36 Ford. And there was no freeways that time either.
Where'd you all stay when you were out in Oregon? Did you just rent a place, or?
Yeah, that was just in Vanport, in the housing. There was a housing put up there during the war. It was just big apartments. There was 4 apartments, and they all led to a heating unit in the center. And there you had wash machines and the furnace. There was no furnace. It was all piped into them places. And then in the spring of the year, that time we came back here, and that all flooded out. There was nothing left there. It was completely shot. Because Marcy lost all her stuff there. And the first place I and Marcy lived in was in Park Rose,
Okay.
in the All-State Motel. There was 48 cabins there. There was 48 states that time.
Oh,
And they
okay.
called it All-State Motel. And I know we lived in one of them. All it was a little cabin. There was a little cabin with a bedroom and a little goddamn kitchen. That's all it was in that place. And we stayed there, and you know, and Eric and Nora, they lived down at Fairview Homes down along the Columbia Highway. And then afterwards, I and Marcy moved down to 82nd Motel for the winter that time. Well, the reason I moved down there that time was with, trying to think of what Whitman. Connie Whitman and his wife lived down there that time. And I worked with him. And then we, and then was George Stenfield. And I and Marcy came back to Minnesota. That was Christmas in 48. I think it was. We moved back here that time. And I don't remember them when Verna May came back. She rode back here when we got married, I know. The four girls and I, but then I don't know, bummed around so goddamn much I don't remember.
Well, you and Mom moved out to Oregon for a year after you got married.
No, it
No.
wasn't no full year.
Oh, it wasn't even a year.
Because we were back here at,
Did you go out there right away after you got married, or?
yeah, we was out there that whole summer and into the fall. We moved back here. Well, we moved on a farm down there in West Rock in 49.
Oh, okay.
It was after Arlo Howard had left there. Arlo Howard left down there
Arlo
Yeah.
Howard lived on that farm?
yeah, he
He
lived there
did?
for
I didn't know that.
Arlo must have lived there 2 years. Because Mikey was born down there, I'm damn sure.
Really? See, I never knew that.
You didn't?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, that. And then we moved on there.
And that old guy lived upstairs.
Yup. That was in 49. But how Verna May got back out to the West Coast is beyond me. So I can't figure out. Dutch, I remember he came back here that time with that Chuck Weiss at them. And then he stayed here.
Because he was here when I was born.
Huh?
Dutch was here when I was born, right?
Yeah, right. He left right after that. It wasn't too long after that. But I can't remember when the hell Verna May came back here. That I can't remember. But Dutch, he was here in 49. And he was here yet in 50 when you were born. And then he left right after that, I think it was. But then Verna May had to be here too. Because she worked in Russ City.
Well, she got married in 50. Fall of
Yeah.
50.
But I don't remember when she came back here.
Hmm.
Because she worked for Arnold Wahlberg in Russ City. And that's where she met Bob. And that had to be in the 50s.
Hmm.
Because they got married then
In the fall.
in the fall of 50.
Wow.
But I can't place when the hell Verna May. And she bummed back and forth. I don't remember. Yeah. So in other words, you got Eddie always said he's glad I moved back to Minnesota.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think I am too, Dad.
Huh?
I am too. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota was still a nice place.
Oh, yeah.
There really was no, after the war out there, I think, there was work then. But then it all went to pot out there. It seems to me. It never,
No, when you worked out there, you worked in, what, the shipyards or somewhere?
no, I
Oh.
worked in the goddamn planer mill. I worked with lumber all the while.
Oh, lumber, okay.
And
And Mom worked for White Stag.
And Marcy worked down at
Wasn't White
White
Stag?
Stag.
Yeah.
Right down on Burnside, it was right down there in, well, the hobo country, you might as well say.
Oh, where all the bums are?
Yeah. Yeah, but there wasn't no bums out there, it seems to me, at that time. It was altogether different. Altogether different.
Well, didn't she work for the phone company out there too for a while? Pacific Bell?
She worked there at the phone company before she came back here. Before I knew her.
Oh, okay.
She worked at the shipyards, and then afterwards when the shipyards closed, then she went to work at the phone company.
Oh.
And then they all decided they were gonna move back here, so they all just moved back here. Well, Marcy never went back up anymore,
Yeah.
until later years with me.
I think Grandma and Grandpa moved around a lot, didn't they?
Oh geez, them two people moved around.
Kind of like gypsies.
They're like a couple of gypsies. They never really had a goddamn home, you might as well say, until the last years after you were born, when
Really?
they bought that
House?
little house out there. Yeah, they were poor people.
I know Uncle Marvin always said that Grandpa, he just always had the worst luck.
Huh?
Grandpa always had the worst luck. Uncle Marvin was
Oh,
telling me.
everything always did that.
What did he say? He said he was given a, was it a?
Well, the kids passed away left and right there, the two of them.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing out of life either.
I think Uncle Marvin said that one of, I can't remember who gave him a horse and the damn horse drowned. Uncle Marvin was still,
Yeah.
he says he just had the worst luck, he said.
Nothing bothered them though.
I wish I would have gotten to know him. I heard he was easygoing and just kind of a
Yeah.
lot like Jerry.
Yeah, if he had $1, he gave it to the goddamn somebody else. Somebody that was poorer than him.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, and he never got to be an old man either.
Well, he's pretty young. Yeah, so. Now, when I was born, there was a snowstorm or something?
Oh, yeah, it was. No, he wasn't born in a snowstorm. I remember Dutch was here that time. Then we hauled you down to Russ City, our mother down to Russ City. And we went down and picked her up again. Hauled her home.
Oh. Yeah, middle of winter.
Yeah, now by golly, that house is still standing in West Rock.
The barn's gone though now.
I think there's a, what the heck is that? An M-Sliner lives there, I think, now, in that house.
Well, does Tim still own that place?
Who?
Tim.
Tim owns it,
He
yeah.
owns it still. Yes, I thought. Is his mother still in the nursing home?
Still on the nursing. Been there for I don't know how many years now.
Yeah, she's been there a long time.
Maggie, I think she's down in Russ City yet.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I heard her name the other day. Her birthday was.
Um, yeah. Yeah, the only one left from the Melody Ramblers is Bob, huh?
Yeah, they're all gone too. Geez, I often think Bob once said they bought that microphone and that, yeah, and that little box. Where was it? $55? Well, the only thing they had used the amplifier was to speak on and They didn't have none of the instruments were.
Electrified, I don't think, were they?
No, there was nothing went through the amplifier. Just the voice.
Hmm.
Geez, I can hear that Lloyd Hamilton play.
They played at a lot of wedding dances, I think, huh?
Good. He was a good. He could really play a piano. Really something.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been gone. Jeez, I wonder how many years ago it is since he passed away.
Yeah.
And then there was Willard Johnson. He passed away quite a few years ago too already.
And Waldo.
And then you take like Waldo. He's been gone what? 2 years now? It will be 2 years.
I think so. It's a couple
Yeah,
of
he was
years.
here that.
He was here
He
when
was here
Bernie
that
Bob
time we
was
had the party.
active. Yep. So it must be a couple of years already.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you guys used to have a lot of house parties, didn't you?
Ooh.
You guys.
Oh yeah, there was always house parties. I don't know what. Yeah, there were quite a few years that we had nothing but house parties for the New Year's Eve.
And the Weasel Gang.
Yeah, and the Weasel Gang.
Yeah, they were just.
And now there is no Weasel Gang no more.
There ain't even any young weasels anymore, is there?
No. Yeah, that Weasel Gang.
God, they used to have those Weasel Gang reunions. Whatever happened to them? They haven't had one of them.
Yeah, nobody. Jesus, is there anybody that takes a drink anymore? Art Pangerl don't drink. Ernie Elmer don't drink. Junior is gone.
Yeah.
Billy Court's gone.
God.
Sandy, he has a drink, that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
If he has one. Carl Slager.
Hmm.
I think he's the only one left from the Weasel Gang that smokes cigarettes. Catherine gets mad at him, but that's all the good it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, come and they go.
Well, tell me a few stories from years ago.
Huh?
Tell me a few stories from years ago.
What kind of stories?
Well, I don't know any kind of stories. You used to always talk about different stuff.
Well, I'll tell you one about Phil and Silo over by Arlo Howard's.
Okay.
Kenny Howard must have been about 10 years old. Maybe he wasn't even 10. He used to drive that tractor when he was just a little kid. And I remember they hooked onto that. Him and his grandpa, all right, Pangerl, were going to go get the corn bundles out of the garden. And they had that mat wagon and it had a long horse pole on. And that Kenny Howard, he drove that goddamn John Deere tractor back in there. And of course, he only got in the garden, he had to turn. And he turned. And he bent that pole right around Perner. And they came into the silo filler that time and they were way away from the silo filler that time in order to get in there that time. He had that bent pole. And I was, nobody got mad at that time, they just laughed about it, you know. Another time he used to have that old Gus, his name was. He was the hired man. And the mouth always went a mile a minute. And then the operator would always tell him, "Ain't that nickel wore out yet?" Then I remember one time down in West Rock, We were filling silo down there. And Henry Blank was helping us. It had to be in the 50s, early 50s. And I know I think it was in 51. It was so called damn wet. And that Alex Pangerl was going to make it easy for Henry Blank. He told him he should stay by the silo filler and let the young guys haul the bale or the bungles in. And that Henry Blank got so goddamn mad he jumped off of that hay rack, and I thought they were going to get in a fight there yet. Him and Alex Pangerl. I don't think Jim Pangerl was here that time. I think
Probably
he
in the
was.
service?
He was in the service that time, and I think Sandy was in the service. Yeah, I think it was 51. And it was so damn muddy and wet. Yeah. That would be the same time that you and Dale, or was that a year later? No, it had to be a year later. Well, it was over a year later. Because Dale was the little boy that time, and I know that time, that yard down in West Rock was just a sea of mud. And I know these two kids used to be out there in that goddamn mud all the time. That was later years, because Johnny Pangerl was drilling well there that time. And he had that little Dave there from helping him. And I know that time Marcy was out there, she was so goddamn mad at these kids. And getting you out of the mud, and that little Dave, he walked over to Marcy that time. And he looked her straight in the eye. I'll never forget that. And he said, "May the good Lord bless you with a dozen more." And Marcy was so goddamn mad she could have killed that Dave.
Oh, God, I remember all the mud down there. God.
Oh, that. I don't remember what party that was down there in West Rock that time. When Lynn jigged with them big boots on that time.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely, too. Used to
The
just...
kids were all young that time. I don't remember what kind of a party it was. It rained and it was muddy. And old Art Jacobson, he edged that goddamn Lynn on the jig. And Bob played the guitar, I know. It was in that goddamn old garage down there. And then Lynn would piss in his pants and run right into the goddamn boots. Oh boy, that Lynn, he was something else.
Oh, God. That was a
I
character.
just used to hate it when he used to come sometime. Just everything went. He just got out of that goddamn car and away he went. The worst was that time he put them rocks in my goddamn pickup in the gas tank.
Jeez.
He used to turn
We were
the
living
corner.
down at West Rock then, weren't we?
Yeah. They used to turn the corner and that gas tank was behind the seat of the truck in that 49 Chev. And them rocks would go and they'd roll back and forth. And then it would plug the goddamn carburetor and all. Or what about that time you were in the chicken coop?
Oh, geez.
With the dog.
God. Yeah, that was pretty good. All you could see was feathers.
Well, if it wouldn't have been for that chicken coop, I think I'd had Marcy would have starved to death down
Well, yeah, you guys raised a lot of chickens.
there. That was a nice chicken coop there, and the chickens always laid good. And we always, that guy from Wisconsin would always pick up the eggs. Now you can't even sell an egg.
Really?
No.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, there was some tough times that time too. I still never got rich.
yeah.
Dale's gonna call back, or I suppose he's so goddamn busy, he never
Oh, I
calls.
don't know.
If he's got all them kids up there, he's got his hands full.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, let's see what else is.
What else is new?
Yeah, or what else should we talk about?
Is, remember some good story one time? Well, they're both gone now. Down to Russell Pangerl. Russell and his mother lived down there at the time. Well, it's been,
See, who was Russell's dad?
that was Albert.
Albert.
His name was supposed to be, or was, I think, Engelbert. But they always call him Albert.
Oh, that's right. You know what I think? Yeah, okay. Okay.
Well, then oh my God, that was Russell. And we was down there, I remember one time, on a Sunday, and Henry Kraft was there. And I don't know what now, if we did that today down there, kids, I'd go completely crazy. We hooked them 3 horses up to manure spreader, and he had a whole load of manure out. And I know all 3 of us stood in that goddamn, we went on and hauled the manure out in the field. And then we come back, and it was all 3 of us stood in that goddamn old manure spreader, and the horses were going full gallop, and we come through the yard and made that curve down by the barn into the cow pasture.
Over at your home place? Over
That,
at your
that was
home?
over to Edgar Johnson.
Oh, Edgar John. Okay.
How we ever made that corner, I don't know. But there was Henry Kraft and I and Russell. And I said, they're both gone now.
No, Russell Pangerl, he died pretty young, didn't he?
He was only, I think he was 37 years old.
How'd he die?
Heart attack, fell right over in the goddamn.
Really?
He had a bad heart. And they lived down in Hastings.
Okay, I was just gonna say his wife.
Him and Evie lived down in Hastings. And he helped the neighbor. Of course, Russell was he was always, he never could give to them. He'd work in a way, sweating and everything else. And he went over to help the neighbors load hogs. And there's nothing worse than loading a hog. And he fell over in a goddamn hog chute and he was dead. Just like that.
Well, those kids must have been pretty.
But I don't remember when he died. He was 37.
I've got it in my book.
And I know I and Jerome Peters and Irene and Marcy went down to the funeral. Jerome couldn't have been married too long then. Because that's a long time ago.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. God, that was young.
Yeah, that Russell. I had some good times. And I remember when Leonard and Eleanor Hinsey got married. He was down in West Rock with us. Yeah, he came up for a wedding. That's the way it was. But I don't remember what year that was either when Eleanor and Leonard got married.
Wasn't it like
It had to be about,
52 or 53 maybe?
yeah, that had to be in the early 50s.
Yeah, Debbie was born in 54.
Because I know he was at the dance that time. And I know that it was so much mud in that goddamn yard all the time, out in that cow yard, that I used to hook the horses up on a manure spreader. And then I'd drive the goddamn manure spreader in with the horses on. And I'd leave them standing in that goddamn mud. And how in the hell they stood in there, I don't know. And then I'd clean the barn and because I know Russell said that time. I forget who he was telling that. He'd drove them horses into that barnyard. He said, and all that stuck out was the ears, he said.
God. What year did you guys start going up to Nickerson? Hunting.
I went up there before I was married. 1947, my first year up there. That was the time when we built that shack. R. Jacobson and Jim and Donald and Sandy, the 5 of us. That had to be back in 47. Yeah. Bernard went up there about 44. Maybe it was 44, maybe not. I bet you it was 44. And then Bernard didn't go for, I remember when Bernard went to the Army. Was that in 45?
Well, probably be about right, because they got married in 47.
Say, wait a while, Bernard was gone in 46, if I remember right. When Genevieve and Bobby got married, Bernard was not here.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, I bet you Bernard was not in 45 or 46. Because but I know I went in 47. Maybe Bernard was up there hunting in 43. I'm sure
You guys always just rent the land up there?
No, that was just state forest land.
Oh, state forest, so you could just
Yeah.
put a cabin.
At that time, you could go any place.
Really? You can't do that now, though.
Well, now you can still go up in the forest. That's
No,
still,
but I mean, you can't build anything like.
But you can't build nothing. Well, I remember years ago in the 30s when we used to go up there blueberry picking. You could go any place up there in northern end of Pine County. That was all tax fortified land. People bought it and then they never paid the taxes and went back. And now, by golly, that land, Eddie said up at the Hinckley ASC office, that land is worth more money today than good farmland down at the Iowa line.
Really?
Because people all want a goddamn tree and a bunch of willows and
I
nuts.
suppose. When did they start having the Pangerl reunions? 'Cause they used to have a lot of them in the 50s. They used to have them every year.
Let's
And then they
see.
quit there for a while.
Well, we lived in West Rock, yeah. When they started with them, they didn't have them before we were married, I know that. The first ones are held up at Johnson's Resort.
I remember that, yeah. And then we even had some at Rush Lake, I think, at one time.
Yeah. Yeah, the one in Rush Lake, I remember. Yeah, and I laughed. They had that one in Rush Lake, they had that at Shields. Because that's the time George Pangerl said that they were buying beer there, and he went and told he said, you keep your goddamn St. Paul money, he said, we're gonna spend Pine City money. I remember that. And that goddamn was about, I don't know. It was Raymond. Was there. God, it had to be about 1950.
Yeah, I should look at it. I think I've got
No,
that.
I don't remember what the hell it was.
Yeah, used to be a lot of them. Pangerls and.
Yeah, that Johnson's Resort, there wasn't much there. There was that little goddamn beer joint there, and that was about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember that. We used to go in there and,
Of course, there was a big hotel there, but that was nothing but a vacant
yeah.
spot.
I remember we used to have like, well, everybody would make Kool-Aid. I mean, we didn't never
Yeah,
have
well,
pop.
yeah,
We never
Kool-Aid.
had pop. It was always Kool-Aid.
No, Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid
Pop cost
and
money.
somebody'd always bring watermelon.
I said, there was that, yeah, it was that Kool-Aid.
Or lemonade.
Nobody, well, it'd be years ago, I don't know, and nobody had any money either. Wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
I remember we used to go over to that Joe France. And then I and Art would sneak down the back stairs and into the basement. And Art's mother, Kate, she used to always make root beer.
Really?
And we'd
Homemade
steal
root
it.
beer. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to make that root beer. She always had that goddamn root beer fermenting, or either they had homemade beer fermenting. They used to make that too.
Had their own little still down there, huh?
Yeah. Well, everybody had that goddamn beer behind the kitchen range.
Behind the kitchen range.
Oh, sure, it would, to ferment, see, it would have to be
Oh,
warm.
it'd be warm.
Well, it had to be warm, see.
Really?
I don't remember how in the hell that all worked either anymore.
Hmm.
Of course, then you had the guys that used to cook moonshine. There was a lot of them around.
Really? Who used to do that?
Oh, Bill C. Pangerl out there and on the other side of the town hall, he used to cook moon. Johnny Pangerl used to cook moon. Frank Kramer cooked moon. Mike Olsen cooked moon.
Really?
But see, they never would sell it.
Oh,
Dad always said the best moon Mike Olsen used to make.
Really?
He had an act to make a moon. Well, Andrew Johnson down there, he cooked moon, but he sold it.
And that was illegal, though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, shit, he'd haul 100 gallons to Forest Lake once a week.
Really?
He made his money on bootlegging.
And who
Because
was that? Who was
they
that?
caught him that time. They caught him that time,
Is that Waldstad?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but then they wouldn't lock him up
Wow.
because he had a whole bunch of kids.
Oh, yeah, support
Yeah.
the kids. Well, that's probably how he supports them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez. Huh.
Oh, Ignatius, you know, Dad's cousin, he lived on, him and his sister lived on that farm right across from Hartley Lane.
Who is this?
Ignatius,
Oh, he gave Pangerl.
he was a Pangerl.
Oh, okay.
And then Pauline Pangerl.
Okay.
He cooked moon there, that was the old door plate. No, Darrow plate. Well, they always said that there was a hell of a story about that. He cooked moon and he was hooked up with, he was big.
Really?
Yeah, he was out of Chicago.
With the gangsters?
Oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah, Walt Lang, Joy's grandpa used to told me one time, he said he went over there to Ignatius. They cooked in the barn, they had a great big vat in the barn.
Really?
And anyway, he come in there, yeah, he was gonna see Ignatius or something. And he said, all at once here was a goddamn guy, he stuck a goddamn revolver in his ribs. He said, what are you doing here? You better get the hell out of here. It was one of the gangsters, see. So then, Walt said he got out of there, he never went back over there no more. Well, then when we got down, they were cooking in there, in that big vat, and that Ignatius got a call that the feds were on their way out. So he threw a match in the goddamn barn, burned the barn down. And I don't know, this year, one of the Marquards said that time, the alcohol was running on top of the creek, and the creek was on fire.
Oh my God.
Burned it right to the ground. That
Really?
oh, there was a lot of that bootlegging, you know. That was
See, I never knew
well, and
that.
then oh, he still lives in town. That George Bloshik. He was married to a bootlegger's daughter, and so was Bob Shirley. Bob Shirley. They were married to two sisters.
Really?
They were bootleggers' daughters out of Chicago.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Now, why was it so against the law for people to make their own booze like that?
Well, you gotta, you know, that was just a big joke. You know, back in the teens, that was before Prohibition.
Uh-huh.
Your government was getting a few cents out of the liquor, see?
Oh.
And then they quit the liquor. Well, then the government lost that money,
Oh, sure.
and the
government-
bootleggers were making the money.
Sure, the government wanted their cut.
Well, then, in '32, when President Roosevelt voted the liquor back in, well, see, then they put a tax on the goddamn liquor again. Well, you pay a pile of tax on liquor, even, well, more today than ever. That's why Albert Earhart always said that he thinks they should legalize drugs, marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the government should get that money instead of these goddamn outlaws. Because there's a lot, I still say there's a lot of money being made on drugs,
Oh, yeah.
where the government isn't making nothing of
Hmm. Wow.
it. Mm.
Wow, that's interesting. Never knew about all the bootlegging up here.
Oh, yeah, they had bootlegging relatives.
Any other skeletons
was
in the
a-
closet?
I remember when Dad used to take this here, was it McCusick? I think his name was in Pine City. Dad said he always wore coveralls. And you know why he wore coveralls all the time? He had inside pockets in that coverall, and they carried him half pints of moon
Really?
and sold. I think his name was McCusick.
Kind of like in New York, you know.
Yeah, well,
Kind of like in New York, you see these guys with these trench coats. They open up their trench coats. They got all these
oh,
watches
yeah, all
and
the
all that.
time. Well, you had that in the cities too.
Well, yeah.
You take the Twin Cities was a gangster capital of the Midwest.
Oh, yeah. They have,
You take down there,
but in St. Paul, they have tours of these caves that, you know, the gangsters used to.
oh yeah, where they kept the booze.
Yep. And I said, I want to go and go through that one of these days.
Well, see, they used to have those, what did they call those goddamn?
Speakeasies?
Speakeasies. See that, I don't know, they always said that Johnny News down here was married to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Well, they said he was tangled up with that goddamn bootlegging in the city.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I think them speakeasies, you know, shit. You take like that, Mike R's down here, the older ones like that Fred Beer and that Jack Rungridge, I think they were tangled up in it too.
Really?
Oh shit, yeah. It was easy money and all shit. But you take down there around the Seven Corners in the St. Paul and through there. That was more or less the hangout in there.
Wow. Well, I know we talk about John Dillinger and
Oh yeah. you
Ma
come-
Barker and
There was John Dillinger, Ma Barker, Pretty Boy Floyd.
Pretty boy.
And then there was Babyface Nelson.
Babyface. You know, it's like, where do they get these names?
Well, and then there was Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Of course, that was out
That was more in the
southwest.
southwest kind
Yeah.
of part of the United States.
Geez, there was on TV here a while ago. They showed that car where they killed him.
Yeah.
I think there was 50 some bullet holes in that car.
Unreal.
Well, you know, when I was a kid in the 30s there, well, my car panels always had the daily paper.
Okay.
Of course, and then they'd send the papers up, you know, and then that was back when Charles Lindbergh kidnapping, when they kidnapped the baby
Do
that
you
time.
remember that?
Oh, yes, I remember that. You know, I used to read that goddamn paper. They used to send it up and I'd read that paper. And then there was, that was that Dillinger kidnapping, and then it was always that John Dillinger in there. You know, I had some papers saved,
I know, yeah.
and
did you
where
ever
in the
find it?
hell they went to, I don't know. They disappeared when we moved that time. I don't know if they got thrown in the trash and burnt, I suppose. Well, that John Dillinger, he was something else. Hell, he was a celebrity down there in Indiana and through there. Hell, when he showed up, they had a big picnic and a big powwow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Bonnie and Clyde?
Huh?
Do you remember Bonnie and Clyde when they were on the run at all?
I don't really remember place them too much. But I remember reading about them. But that had to be in the early 30s. When
That was in the 30s, yeah.
That was in the 30s there when they shot them down. They were only
They were only in their 20s.
20s.
Yeah, they were pretty young.
Well, John Vilner wasn't old either. The hell was he, about 30-some years old?
Yeah.
Well, look at Al Capone, he had to be about 30 years old. He was no 50 when he died of syphilis.
Yeah, he died in prison, right? Did he die in prison?
Yeah, he died in prison down in Florida.
In Florida. Okay.
Yeah, they took him out of Alcatraz that time when they closed it up, and he didn't live long after that no more.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it was quite interesting that time when I and Marcy and Elaine went over there.
Over to
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Al Capone hideaway that time.
See, I've never been over there either. I always wanted to
Haven't?
go.
Well, it doesn't look like it did that time. That time, you could see across the lake, I guess, and it's all grown up and trees and all and stuff. But the building is still there.
Really?
Yeah, funny they had that. Yeah, they got a goddamn gift house there now, where the guys used to, they had them holes to stick the guns through. And then they had, I think they had a goddamn regular built up above where they had a big machine gun. Yeah, I think back to some of that stuff.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Well, that was big news back in the 30s, sir.
Seems like there was a lot more, well, there's still, but there's, you know, it seems like years ago, back in the 30s, these bank robbers and stuff were more famous
Oh,
than the
yeah.
people now that rob banks. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
Yeah, even Henry Weimer remembered old Pretty Boy Floyd.
good old Henry.
Yeah,
Now, Henry was he in the same grade as you?
yeah, he was in the same grade. One thing I'll say about Henry, he was no dummy.
He was pretty smart in school. Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember him that time when I came home from school. And he said, the old man's getting a brand new Ellis Chummer. So we all had to go over to goddamn Weimer's since he got a new tractor. And that tractor stood in the yard out here in steel wheels. just a bright orange Yellowstone. Frank bought it that time from, I think it was $650 or something like that.
Of course, that was a lot of money back then.
Frank had money though.
Jeez.
They never spent any.
Hmm.
No. He always had the first to everything, you might as well say.
Wow.
Quite the Henry.
Now, would they have like 3 kids?
Yeah, there was Mary and
Mary, Henry, and
And
Kermit?
Kermit.
Okay.
you know,
That's what I thought. Wow.
and I always thought that Viola was an Orderby until Henry died.
She was a what?
Was an Orderby girl from out
Oh.
by Uncle Henry's out there in that Orderby 40. But she wasn't. She was a, gee, the Weimer kids said she was. The Orderbys raised her. She belonged to some other Indian. See, they were Indians.
Oh, that's right.
I think Viola wasn't a full-blooded Indian. I think she was just a half-breed. Years ago, you used to have those half-breeds.
Hmm.
Now, I don't even know what Bob Norris's dad was. I don't think he was a full-blooded Indian.
No, he wasn't fully.
I think he was a
He was like
half-breed.
a half, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen pictures of Bob's dad.
Yeah, I have.
Have ya?
Yeah, you could tell he was Indian.
Oh, really? See, I don't
Mhm.
remember ever seeing pictures.
See, there was that one sister of his that lived up in Hinckley.
Oh, that Mortensen.
Mortensen.
She just died here now.
Yeah,
She was 104.
She was 100 and some years old.
104. Oh, so that was Bob's aunt then?
Aunt, yeah.
Yeah, so that was his dad's sister. Okay.
Yeah, because that was his cousin that used to pitch ball for Hinckley, that Mortensen. He was a very good pitcher. But he was Indian too, part Indian. Well, it'd be just like that one that Eddie used to play with,
Oh, Marty?
Marty. You know, his dad was an Indian. She had to be goddamn close to a full-blooded Indian though,
Really?
Marty's mother, because I met her.
Oh, so his dad was white.
His dad was white.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Because what in the hell did Marty and Eddie had to play up north someplace for a benefit for some girl.
Yeah, I was with. That was up in Sandstone, wasn't it? Or Ascot.
Asco.
She had like cancer or something.
Yeah. But then, remember that woman? Marty's mother?
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember her?
Uh-uh.
Well, maybe she wasn't with that time. Well, boy, she was a typical Indian. You could just see it right in there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Indians.
Oh, I know what I was gonna ask you.
What?
Now, I always get confused. Jeanette Anderson.
Jeanette Anderson, okay.
Now, her mom
What's Clara?
was Clara, and Clara was the daughter of Victor's second wife. Is that right?
I don't remember what her maiden name was.
See, I don't know that either.
Well,
I'm gonna have to,
we'll start from the beginning. I knew the name, but I can't remember it. There was, Grandpa Pepin had 3 children.
right.
He had the boy and the
Yeah.
2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
When he got, yeah, another name comes back, it was Schuler.
That's right.
The Pepin place out there didn't belong to Grandpa Pepin.
It didn't?
Mm-mm. It belonged to Schuler. Belonged to her.
Is that why Grandma really never got anything when
That's
Grandpa
right.
died?
That's right.
That I was always wondering because it's like, why did
That
Clara
was
get
a
everything?
Schuler. Their name was Schuler. And he married this Mrs. Schuler. And she had 8 kids.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I only met one of them.
Well, the only one I remember
Out
is
in
Clara.
Oregon one time in Portland when I and Marcy were out there. And his name was Albert Schuler. I remember that. It was Albert Schuler. But where the other kids ever went to or
And
disappeared,
so that would be a brother to Clara?
that would have been a brother to Clara. I only knew Clara and
See, yeah, the only one I really ever knew was Clara too.
that's Clara Schuler. Now I don't know whatever happened to all the goddamn kids or anything.
Because I was wondering that one day, and I kept thinking, why didn't Grandma ever get anything out of that
No,
house?
they never got nothing out of that.
Because it belonged
Because,
to Schulers. Then that makes more sense now.
God, and I don't remember, but I know. Well, I really don't know. But I know there was.
Well,
Clara.
had her husband died?
Her husband died, yeah,
Okay.
and she had 8 kids. Now I don't remember where these. I think these kids were all older than Clara. I think Clara was one of the younger.
She was
ones.
probably one of the younger ones.
One of the younger ones. See, because when I'm just estimating that Grandpa Pepin, when he farmed there, he just had his 3 kids and.
Well, where did Grandpa Pepin live before he moved there?
I have no idea. I
Okay.
have no idea.
Wow, that's interesting. See, I do.
See, there was Pepins around here. There was Joe Pepin, he lived down at right south of Rock Creek.
Mm-hmm.
There was that Mrs. Bonnell up here, she was a Pepin.
Yeah, I remember she used to always
Then there
call the
was-
halls and talk to them.
Well, it was all before me, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that, because I think there
Oh,
was.
so
on
now
that
that
Joe
makes
Pepin-
sense. I mean, because I kept thinking, I always thought that was Grandpa Pepin's place, so it really
Oh,
wasn't.
it
It was
wasn't.
hers.
Was Mrs. Schuler.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Wow.
The only ones I met that one out in Portland that time.
Okay.
And then I met that, he was a Pepin too before that. He was a cripple. Lived in Portland, well educated. Had money.
Really? It was a Pepin?
He was a Pepin. He was a brother to Victor.
Oh, really?
Mhm. But he was,
Well, that was a big family too.
yeah, that was a big family.
I
But I
remember-
don't remember,
See, I remember one time when Grandma was here, I took her to go visit an aunt that was married to, had been married to a Pepin, and anyway, I can't remember what her name was either, but she lived in like St. Paul or Minneapolis. St. Paul, I think. And I was living in Crystal at the time, and I took Grandma over there to visit this aunt. But I can't remember what her name
well,
was.
see there, and then there was Oswald Lewis,
No, who
but
was his mother?
his mother was a Pepin.
Yeah, but you don't know what her first name was, do you? Which one? See, I can't remember either.
No. But that was one of the girls.
Right.
But I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Pepin's, that was a big,
See, Oswald Lewis, he used to come up here to see Grandpa.
yeah.
That's
he'd
the
come
only
up-
time I really got to know him.
Yeah, him and his wife Ida, she was like
That
in
was
a
the second
wheelchair.
wife.
No, his first wife was Ida. The one in the wheelchair,
Well, he got married afterwards again, didn't he?
twice.
Or twice.
Both his wives had died. I mean, they all died on him.
A hell of a time.
But I can't remember what their names are now either. But I remember his first wife was Ida. I just remember that she was like in a wheelchair. She was.
I can't remember.
You can't remember her? Yeah, they used to come up. I remember that.
there used to be a guy that used to come up to Grandpa Pepin's. He was from Deer River, Minnesota, up there on Highway 2. But I don't think he was any relation. Unless he was married to one of the girls. Could have been. But he used to come down to Grandpa Pepin. He'd spend a week or two down here in the summer. But I remember he was from Deer River.
Yeah. God, us kids used to be so scared of that.
But he could have been, he could have been just a friend too and never been related.
That could be.
See, now there's, I know where you could get maybe a little information, give Bud Stevens.
Oh,
See,
yeah?
he lived down there by Grandpa Pepin
Yeah.
all his life.
Yeah, I knew that.
And before even he go down to Bud Stevens, there's the old Kelvin school. They used to be named a Kelvin. And I'm damn sure Mrs. Kelvin was a Pepin.
Yeah, why is that name? God.
See, there was that Billy Kelvin, and there was that Tommy Kelvin, and there was Jim Kelvin. I remember them boys
Boy,
from
that's
World War
ringing
II.
a bell. It's like, who did I talk to about that?
See that? Because I remember that time Jimmy Kelvin was here, and they got in that hell of a fight at the topic. And he was in the army. And then he was drunker than hell, and they threw him in the coop. And what in the hell they threw him? He didn't have nothing to do with it in the first goddamn place. And then there was Billy Kelvin. He was married to Evangeline Pachta.
That name
You know
is-
that Bill Pachta?
Yeah.
It was his sister.
Okay.
And Billy was married to her. They went to the cities, and I doubt if they're living. They were older than I was. I could find out from Bud Stevens.
I'll go down there sometime this
Bud
summer.
Stevens, he grew up with them kids, see. He could tell you if them Kelvin, I think them Kelvin's mother was a Pepin. Pretty sure. Because there was,
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
so
about 8
familiar.
girls.
Yeah.
Hell of a bunch of girls.
Oh.
Bud could tell you. That's just like a lot of them pictures here from Antietam. If you wanted to know who some of them were,
Take it down to him, he probably
I bet
will.
you Bud could tell you.
That should be maybe a project this summer.
Bud could tell you, I think. Because Bud's about 80. Oh, jeez, Bud's got to be about 81 years old now.
Well,
Yeah, he's way older than I am.
yeah.
Yeah, and Stevens, well, you know, they were one of the first ones out in east of Rock Creek, I think.
Really?
No, if that was Bud's grandpa, I suppose. Would have to be.
Yeah. I think what else I was gonna ask you.
Huh?
I said I should think of what else I was gonna ask you. On the Wakeshire family.
Well, I could tell you too much about them.
Well, how about great grandma's brothers and sisters? Or she only had one brother, right?
She only had one brother. The other
I
one they buried.
remember
The other one I heard they buried at sea.
she had another brother.
Yeah, they buried him at sea.
Oh, she did.
He died on the way over, and they buried him right in there.
Oh, he was just little.
Mm-hmm. Never knew that.
I didn't know
And
that.
didn't know that until here a year or two ago. How in the heck did we get into that subject? Aunt Leona never said nothing about it.
Well, how'd you find out?
I heard from somebody that he had a brother and they buried him at sea.
Oh, see, I never knew that either. I suppose I'm,
Well, it's just like how grandma, we got, change the subject again. I don't know too much about the Wickshires. All I know is they lived on that 40 acres,
Which 40 acres?
that, my home place.
Oh, they lived there first.
They lived up, no, they didn't
No.
live there for, they lived on that 40 acres that was by the back road.
Okay, you mean the back road that goes up towards the river?
No,
No? Which
40
way?
acres on this side of the road,
Oh.
right east of Reynolds.
Oh, okay, okay.
See, they owned that 40. And then Joe Pangerl owned the 40 where Reynolds lives, and half of that 40 to the south. Then Grandpa Pangerl owned that 40 where the buildings are, and the 20 acres to the west. So they each had 60 acres.
Okay.
And then afterwards, when the old Wickshire moved to town, or in there by the red shed,
You live by the red shed?
yep, they, in a way, Grandpa bought that 40 from his father-in-law that time.
Oh.
So then he had 100 acres
Oh.
there. And old Wickshire, I remember the little house there, was back there by the lake. And he used to raise garden stuff. And then he'd sell it in town, vegetables.
Uh-huh.
Well, then afterwards, Grandpa Pangerl and Joe Pangerl, they bought another 80 acres on the north side of the road. And they each took 40.
Okay.
And then afterwards, they bought that other 40 down there, and they split it in half, so they each had 20 acres down there.
Down by the river?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Joe Pangerl took the river 20, and Grandpa Pangerl took the other 40, or the other 20. So then he had 160.
Okay.
You know that old Wickshire lived there about, he had to live right off of that road that went down to the north in there. I imagine he lived right where that water hole was down there. It's in the field now. Because years ago, they all lived next to a water hole. So they didn't have to pump too much water.
Wow.
But I remember when those two pine trees stood next to the road up this way, where the first log cabin stood. Because I can remember when we used to cut oats there. We cut grain, and then the oats was always higher there.
Wow. Huh.
Things have changed so much.
Yeah, no kidding. Why did our ancestors settle in Pine City? I mean, what, why did they pick Pine
Well,
City?
over there it always says that it was because the longitude and the latitude, oh the hell, the longitude,
And latitude?
Was similar to
To
that in Austria.
Lago. Okay.
But they did not figure the Atlantic current.
Oh, the cold.
Yeah, the Atlantic currency kept it warmer over there, because that traveled up towards,
Right.
traveled up to Sweden and Norway and stuff.
I
They
mean,
never-
how'd they even find Pine City? It's like years ago, there wasn't,
Well, see, old Wickshire always said he was gonna move to Florida,
Florida.
It's warmer down there.
Oh, wow.
But I still think those people, the reason they never kept tracked over there, well, the Wickshires, they always said were part gypsy, so I don't know if they were or not.
Yeah, I've heard that too before.
Well, see, Dad, and Freddie, August, yeah, them three, they looked more like gypsies. They had the more slender face, they weren't like the Pangerls. They
Okay.
were more like on the Wickshire side. They had, well, you know that picture of John? He had that kind of a long, slender face.
Wow. Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm almost out of tape.
Huh?
I says I'm probably almost out of tape. I'm surprised. It
You are, huh?
just about. Wind it down, I suppose, huh? Yeah, that's.
Oh, no, you were talking about bootleg days.
Yeah.
You know that, well, it'd be Mary Alex and
Aunt
Jeannie
Emma.
and Aunt Emma and
Yeah.
them. Their mother, they used to cook a lot of moon
Really?
out there in We're Bernard in the desert.
Really?
Oh yes, she sold a lot of moonshine.
That would be what, their mother?
Huh?
Aunt Emma's mother.
Yup.
Wow. Yeah, it was kind of. Well, people were poor back there then. I suppose they had to figure out a way to make some money, huh?
Well, they ought to have money.
Well, like the Youngbauers, I mean, that was a big family.
Well,
then.
Matt Yumber, he cooked moon,
Really?
peddled it up in Rutledge.
Huh.
They never caught him. They- Oh, that map.
Yeah. I'd like to get up to Rutledge. I want to go to the cemetery up there. I've never been up there.
You are, huh?
Yeah. I thought maybe you'd take me up there one of these days. I've never been up there.
You gonna go stop at Danny's?
Well, that's closed up.
I was just thinking of him the other day. I and Leonard Hinsey was talking one day. And Leonard Hinsey told me that the Legion never got a dime for that golden wedding.
Well, you were telling me about that.
And that's what Leonard Hinsey told me. Well, they probably left,
Well, sure.
and
They didn't
well,
know.
they went down there, and the heck, I didn't know that. And
Huh.
Danny, I think he don't have nothing, I think.
Unreal. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm gonna. Oh, it is almost 1 o'clock.
Huh?
It is almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So. Well, thank you for the interview, Dad. I got some pretty good stuff on there
Oh, you
that I
think
never
you got
knew
some
before.
shit, huh?
I did. I did. A lot of stuff I didn't know before.
I'm half sleeping.
No, it's okay. I don't. Maybe you want to go to lunch? I'll take you out to lunch.
Where the hell can I go?
Oh, I don't know. What's open? I'll turn this off.